Eternal greetings and good wishes to the brotherhood. We have been trying to understand that step of yoga which relates to pranayama. You may reduce your volume, Jesus. Essentially, there are 5 principles of prana. Those are prana, apana, samana, udana and vyana. And these 5 pranic principles shall have to be synthesized to walk into the state of air, because air is the basis for all these 5 pulsations. The 5 pranic principles they are based in air, and air is the vehicle of the life force. Just like all the 5 senses shall have to converge into the mind, and mind becomes subjective mind, and now that subjective mind is now trying to associate with the pulsations, and when prana and apana vayus are merged into samana vayu, the mind is merged, the mind is enflamed. That is how people experience the flame in the heart. When that happens, there is the golden light visualized in the heart center. That is where you have the samana vayu manifesting in the cave of the heart in golden color. See, the color and sound phenomena start right from the point of you are entering into the heart principle, which is called samana vayu, which is also called the pulsating principle. Before that, the color is orange. Now the color is golden yellow. So golden yellow is the color that you experience, and you also visualize enflaming within you. That enflaming is what is being done by way of fire ritual. The enflaming of mind would result in formation of the light of buddhi. Most of you know the Petromax light. The spirit is burnt and then the flame is there. You keep on pumping air, and with the help of the air, the flame tries to move up and up and up, and ultimately it catches the mantle. When the mantle is lit, then the work of flame is over, and the illumination that the mantle can give is hundreds of times more than the illumination that the mind can give. So mind is only a small 0-watt bulb compared to the light of buddhi. Light of buddhi is like the mantle. So now we have entered into the 4th state of yoga, which is called pranayama. We also enter into the 4th state of the 4th element of the 5 elements, that is air. That's where Master CVV mystically calls it as the gaseous state. From fire to air, there is the movement. When it is fire, the color is orange. When it is air, then there is changing of colors as you move up and up and up. That's how you would have the first glimpses of color in you in the heart center as the golden color. The month of Leo, when sun is in Leo, you are therefore required to work out this golden color in abundance. Gaining golden yellow is the process given in yoga. Buying gold is the tradition in the month of Shravana. People buy at least a few grams of gold as tradition. So in this month, the yoga student shall have to regain through the zodiacal movement of the sun the golden color in the heart center. So these are all concurrently happening. They are not different sciences. The color, the sound, the yoga, the movement, and all these shat chakras, the unfoldment of chakras, all these happen concurrently. So that you know only when you have the experience of it, otherwise they remain separate doctrines in books. So this is how when Samanavayu emerges as the central theme of prana and apana, then the pulsating principle absorbs into itself the inhalation and exhalation as well as the mind. Then you have slowly the higher mind getting activated, not yet formed. Higher mind is formed only when you go up to the brow center. That is the highest point of buddhi. That is what we are trying to stimulate with the help of the Maha Mantra Gayatri. Gayatri is meant for stimulation of the golden light so that you experience the cosmic person in you. That is a far advanced initiation, though we practice it right from the preliminary times. So this is where, when we enter into the cave of the heart, it is said that you have won over the lion. That's how there is winning over the lion. You see Samson winning over the lion. You see Hercules killing the lion. And you see Androcles making friendship with the lion. These are all the mystical presentations in the Greek system about the lion in the heart, because they also carried the knowledge in ancient times. So this is called, also given in the spiritual psychology meditation, yonder is the lion behind the bars. So you have to gain that leonine quality once you enter into the heart. By this time all your qualities of harmlessness, non-manipulative speech, lack of thieving instinct, lack of sexual urges, lack of obligation karma, all this become very effortless and normal and natural with you. You are naturally pure and you have pure habits taking place in your daily routine without your effort, and you are generally joyful. And then there is a different dimension of the self-study. Before you studied with the clean mind. Now the study is from within. That is what the Master says. When you enter into the gaseous state, that is into the buddhic path, which is also called Vijnanamaya Kosha. It is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Earlier we are in Manomaya Kosha. Before that we are in Kamamaya Kosha. Before that we are just physical like the beast. So from just being physical, Annamaya Sarira, we enter into Kamamaya Sarira, and the Kama has its own memory aspect resulting in certain memorized mind, and then you have your thought forms, and then you become a thinking entity and an intellectual. All this is Manomaya Kosha, where the color is orange, the element is fire. When you are in desire, the element is water. When you are just physical, the element is matter. So the 5 elements, in that you have now graduated yourself into the 4th element. From being just physical, people only have very physical, obvious understandings. They don't even have inferences in those stages. Then there are desires. These are the desires of water. And these waters of desire shall have to be distilled, otherwise they are muddy waters. When desire has no discrimination, it will lose all decency. Consequently, they are emotional waters. And these emotional waters cause all diseases to the person, and he would die with diseases. He would not grow beyond his desires. That is the desire Kamaloka, where the water needs to be purified, distilled. That's where these regulations of yoga are helpful. Later the training is with fire, with the mind, with the thinking entity, and we keep on purifying the mind on one side and enlarging the comprehension of mind through right understanding of scriptures with the help of the clean mind. Now the clean mind has merged into the fourth state of Vayu. That's where you are working with the air through inhalation and through exhalation. You have neutralized yourself into pulsation, and that pulsation gets into subtle pulsation, and the subtle pulsation enters through the upper aperture of the heart cave. There is a cave of heart. On the top of it there is a hole. Through that hole there is some light coming, and that light, when enters into this cave of heart, the whole cave becomes golden. It's not a golden cave by itself. The light that comes from above, that distance from above, causes golden color in the cave. You may have seen in the book of Yogananda, when Lahari Mahasaya was taken into the cave of Babaji, he found the whole cave full of gold. It was of golden color. So the urge of gold, which was existing latently as a deeper instinct in Lahari, was eliminated when he saw so much gold and precious stones. You see that golden color painting in the paintings of Nicola Roerich, one of the initiates who had been given permission for physical entry into the ashram of Lord Maitreya. The pictures are available. He made a painting of it, and those paintings are now inspiring all over the globe. So that is the cave you enter into, and then slowly the Udana Vayu, which exists around your brow center, it starts calling you up. That's how the Samana Vayu keeps moving, like the pulsating resonance moving up, because it is the resonance of pulsation. It is called resonance of pulsation because it is very subtle. So that subtlety is what causes further movement. There is almost very subtle matter with you, because when mind is dissolved into air and when mind is inflamed, then what is happening is you are entering into the field of light. This is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. So in this Vijnanamaya Kosha, you have an understanding of the scriptures from within. It is no more an understanding of scripture from the book. You can, when you read a book, in between the lines you see so much of wisdom. Each line is just a representation of 100 sentences. Every sentence is a representation of 100 sentences, and those 100 invisible sentences keep revealing to you when you read just a sentence. That's how you will try to know much more than what is obviously known. You know what is subtle. The knowledge, you keep on getting the subtle knowledge. And those are the times when you have the divine experiences. All divine experiences relate to Buddhic plane. They relate to Vijnanamaya Kosha. And you keep on ascending, ascending and ascending. And then you go up to the throat center, where you meet the ether. So that's where you also start. Not only you would have visions, but also certain sounds. You become clairaudient, clairvoyant, and you are able to listen to certain distances. You would be able to listen to certain voices, not due to sickness, which happens when you are emotionally disturbed. Homeopaths know depressed people listening to certain funny voices. But that is not the case here. Here the voice is instructional. Here the vision is a foresight. You would be knowing the acts that you have to do for the day or for the immediate proximate week or month or an year. You would gradually know the plan of your work for the time to come. You would also receive advice about how to advise people who come for advice. You receive the solution before the other person approaches you. You know the medicine before the other man asks you for a medicine. You know the astrological configuration and its functioning in your colleague even before he asks you. That's how you are pre-informed in the Buddhic plane. Because in the Buddhic plane, the events that are happening already with the human beings, they are already manifest up to a point, and you start knowing them even before they know. They know only when they get into their mental layers. But you know even before when they are at the Buddhic plane. So in the Buddhic plane, you are pre-informed, you have foresight, you are able to see things much before others see. That's how they can progress further. That's where a man knows before a problem is posed to him. The solution is readily available with him, and he answers. He never tells others that I know this about you, I know this about you. Because he has lost all that indiscipline long ago. He would wait. He would wait till the person comes and asks him. That's a sure way. Even if you know something, you are not supposed to talk. You are not supposed to irresponsibly speak. You know things, you wait. When they seek your advice, you advise. When they don't seek your advice, you don't advise. You wait. This is how many times the knower waits, because the spiritual discipline is you shall not speak unless you are asked. You shall not advise unless your advice is sought. You will not move unless someone demands you to move. Sarvarambha parityagi, that is how he becomes. He doesn't move by himself. He has no desire to move to Bangalore, to Ballari, to Mysore, to Europe, to South America, to North. All this is not a desire. Only when it is sought. Even before it is sought, it is known inside. Suppose it is sought, it is put to verification inside. Should it be responded, should it not be responded? And many times, even before it is sought, it is known inside. It is also known inside whether it is a sincere seeking or a casual seeking. When it is a casual seeking, the response does not come. When it is a sincere seeking, the response comes. The movement of the student at that time is totally according to the divine order. He does not speak unrequired, he does not act unrequired, he does not move unrequired, and he does not hesitate to move when it is required. And to him, comfort or discomfort is nothing in matters of movement, in matters of action, and in matters of speeches, in matters of advice. This is how he starts functioning, and he progresses up to throat center. That's where he would start going deeper into his meditative processes. And from throat center, as he grows up to the throat center, the colors, he would have the magic of the colors being experienced in him, from golden yellow to aquamarine to a kind of a metallic sky blue. If you see the neck of the peacock, you see so many colors so quickly changing by the little movement that the peacock makes, and the neck keeps very fast changing the colors. The golden color becomes aquamarine becomes green becomes blue, and everything looks black. All colors, the velocity of colors is so well experienced, and the sadhaka is amazed at what speed the colors move. The colors which we see so stable in the physical form are due to the resistance of the dense physical matter of the fast movement of colors. Denser is the matter, dull is the color. Subtler is the matter, brilliant is the color. So the color manifestation, it's all only one color, the white color, manifesting as different colors, not because of the color itself, light itself, but because of the density of matter. There are 7 states of density for the matter. So when the matter is at its purest level, it is blue or white, because white in its depth is called blue. And in the next state, it becomes a sky blue. And in the next state, it becomes aquamarine. In the next state, it becomes a golden color. In the next state, it becomes orange. In the next state it becomes brown. In the next state it becomes just muddy and earthy. This is how the colors, their involution according to the density of matter it is. So that's how it works. So the color is also seen. Not only when a person is present, his color is seen. His color note is seen. Which of the zodiacal signs are functioning more effectively in him are seen. Is he full of water? That means is he emotional? If so, he would know whether there is more in Cancer or Scorpio. If he is very emotional, you can easily see the related planets in the related watery houses, and some are just earthy. Then you can see them in the earthy signs. Some are very fiery, very active. They move and they let others move. They don't rest. They don't let others rest. For example, that's the active fire. So then you find fiery sign. Those are the ones who are born in the month of Leo. They would have their sun in Leo and moon in Aries. We have our brother today, Ramakrishna Shastri. Today is his birthday. His sun is in Leo. His moon is in Aries. He can't be quiet. You can't ask him to be quiet. You are doing the wrong thing if you ask him to be quiet. He has to be active and he moves things. It is his work. He does it well. Likewise, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, these are fiery signs. They keep on enflaming people. They don't let people settle down to anything. That's their work. And if you are with the Aries signs, you are very light. You are a person who is almost invisible in work. You are a person who keeps moving things without being noticed. You are the person who conducts everything from behind the scene. And Vayu is not seen. The activity of air is not seen. And the activity of ether is still subtle. So subtler it is, brilliant are the colors, grosser it is, dull are the colors. Subtler it is, the ability for the light to manifest is more, and denser is the matter, the ability for the light to manifest is less. That is the reason in spiritual practices, naturally one would tend to be lighter in his body cells. The tissues of the body, they tend to be lighter and lighter, and man moves with a lot of agility, ability, and he is just active. He cannot be dull, he cannot be inert, he cannot be lazy, he cannot be forgetful, he cannot be sleepy. So this is what happens when you enter into this. You get such a huge knowledge which is not recorded in books many times. And even if they are recorded in different ways in different books. How do you correlate all of them? So now the knowledge is very direct to you. And you don't need to read books so much as you have read before, because things start revealing from inside and the books confirm what you know. That is how it happens. That is how Ramakrishna experienced all the time. He never read a single book. But the knowledge he carried was confirmed by Brahmajnanis. It was confirmed by Mahayogis. It was confirmed by Tantrics. It was confirmed by mantra specialists. All that he did was in conformity with all the branches of wisdom, and yet he did not read anything with his mind. Because he went into such deep austere practices, he just enflamed himself into the Buddhic plane, and in the Buddhic plane he met with this vast knowledge, and the Buddhic plane is so vast and it can engage you. People, many of them, they get settled in Buddhic plane with contentment, because it's a big light and sound phenomena that keeps engaging you. You would even experience certain devas, certain angels, and you would find interactions with angels. All these angels are also at a state of the creation. They are not the ultimate, because they are all the formations of one light. It's like from out of one flower you make so many food preparations. From wheat flour you make puri, chapati and so many other products. So all these devas are nothing but the formations of light and sound. But then you have to work to the source of light and sound. So you keep on ascending and ascending and ascending and ascending, and then you reach up to your brow center. When you reach the brow center with you, the color velocity does not anymore affect you. Otherwise there will be blow of color all the time. One color after the other, one color after the other, one color after the other, because in the whole ambience there is such movement of color and such movement of air. So you settle down to sky blue color. That is the color of the soul. That is the peak of your personality. That's where you contemplate upon deeper blue. That's where you reach the point which is called pituitary, and you contemplate upon pineal. That's where the merging of Samana Vayu with Udana Vayu shall have to happen. So the whole story of the color, the story of sounds, the stories where angels guided certain people, the stories of those who give certain prophecies, the stories of those who intuitionally function with varieties of sciences, they are all people at the Buddhic plane only. Please note that. Beyond and in the Buddhic plane you are just intuitional, but that's not all. Buddhic plane shall have to, Vijnanamaya Kosha is the right state where you have the final eligibility to contemplate upon the Lord. That's how yoga says. See, now with impure mind, with all emotions, we worship God. It is a blind worship and a blind belief. Then with a pure mind, you are comprehending and you are experiencing certain things and you worship God. Then you have your own concepts of God, concepts of certain right and wrong and all that. Then you walk into the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the Buddhic plane, where you are walking into the huge field of light, and there also you have the phenomena of sound and color. So this sound and color engages you so much, just like in the world so many other activities engage you. Your engagement is not with the ultimate, even in the Buddhic plane. It is just a sound and color show, you are deeply engaged, just like you are engaged in the objectivity with so many other things. So that's where people get stuck for long time. Thereafter, as he grows further with his practice, and the bird moves with greater vigor in the upward direction, from the throat to the palate, from palate to the upper palate, from palate to the nose, from nose through the bridge of the nose. How do you know all this? Only through the experience of the resonance of the pulsation up to the point of your brow center. That is where you have a very settled phenomena. The color is quiet. It's just blue. Sky blue. And you have deep blue all around. The sound is settled. You have only one sound. That is still this subtle soham, soham, soham happening in you. And then you would have the real chitkala of the universal light. Chitkala means you listen that a very grand, brilliant feet with a bracelet is making certain sounds. Gajjal sappudu. What is gajjal in Kannada? Gajje. So, are the musical sounds of the bangles. Or it looks as though someone is walking around in the house, and you suddenly see a very brilliant foot or a very brilliant hand or a very brilliant face, not the whole form. Like this, it settles down. This is where you experience a certain divine manifestations and certain divine sounds. So the divine sounds manifest as musical sounds. For example, last night our brother Ganesh, he played mridanga. Do you know how all these instruments have come about? They have all come about because man is microcosmos, and the sounds of the macrocosmos are conceived inside, and accordingly these sounds are conceived. Mridanga is the most advanced sound you listen. That means in the advanced states of your being, you listen to dhamaruka, you listen to mridanga, you listen to flute music. Before that, you listen to the music of veena. So many instrumental musics in a rhythm you keep listening. This is what is called nada chitkala. First you would have lot of chitkalas engaging you totally, and then lot of musical sounds engaging you. You see, Master E.K. writing in Mandrajala, in the music of the soul, that there is a valley with the two hills on either side. There is a valley and there is a blue sky in between the valley, and through that blue there is the flute music coming, isn't it? That is the reality if you reach the brow center. Not until then. Until then it is not a reality. And it is not just accident. You would regularly, very frequently you would listen to that music, because once you go there, you find your own eyebrows as the two hills. Because all that which is below the eyebrows is no more existing to you. You have only that which is above the eyebrows. That's the symbol of Aries also. Isn't it? So that's where you experience from the valley the blue coming. Sometimes you see brilliant white diamond-like light flashing forth into forms, and you also concurrently listen to sounds. These are all called nadas and chitkalas. All these nadas and chitkalas continue to engage you, and by the time you would have overcome your karma also in the meanwhile. Please remember, until the karma is complete, it doesn't allow you to move that far. And the Master promised, I shall neutralize your karma and ensure that you progress faster. Many times in the books, he speaks of gaseous state. This is the gaseous state. Through gas, you enter into through air, you enter into ether, and you continue. Then you have these chitkalas, then you have these nadas, and all these nadas and chitkalas will ultimately disappear. Even when you have these nadas and chitkalas, sometimes you get into a kind of absorption into that blue. That is what happens in Mandrajala to Girisharma, to Ruta, to Pratichi, isn't it? All those have listened to these sounds. Mind you, Madam Blavatsky also listened to those sounds. Madam Bailey also listened to those sounds. She listened to music before the Master Jwalkul manifest before him. Before the manifestation of Master Jwalkul before her, she listened a distant music approaching her when she was on a small hill in a silent place in the United States. So the great beings start approaching you only when you are over this place. People speaking about the Master appearing to him and guiding him, this is all. Have to be listened to with tolerance, that's all. With compassion. There is no such a thing until you Master E.K., when he was contemplating here and looking for the light of Gayatri, the Master came. Isn't it? Not when you are just unprepared, highly emotional, mentally impure, not orienting towards the light. In those states, it's impossible for a master of wisdom to contact you. The masters say, as much you want us to contact you, we also wish to contact you, but there is such a big, huge grey matter between you and me that doesn't allow you to come to you. It is so thick like phlegm. You can't come out of it to me, I can't come to you through this. That's why I send through a rainbow, through the bridge of the rainbow, I send certain disciples who will help you to work it out. It's not so easy to meet and adapt, you know that? We speak so casually about adapts. So that's where you find the real ones, the real teachers, the ones who are working for the planet, the ones who are working even as transmitters of interplanetary energies. Did not Master C.V.V. said, I work with the planets with the telegraph and the planets work with me by telephone? That means he sends messages to the planetary principles and he receives a direct telephone call. When he sends a telegram, he receives a telephone call. This is what he says. Such huge beings who are helping evolution of this planet, they are the realities to you at that time. So that is how you would get into it when fairly your karma is dissolved. That's why I gave 3 steps of slokas for you to recite. Not even one person recite them. I gave it in the east, I gave it in the west. Ever since I spoke to you upon Ishavasya Upanishad in Guru Pujas, I gave you 3 steps of slokas. One is Agnenaya Supadharaye Yuyodhya Asmat Juhuraname Bhuyishtante Nama Uktim Vidhema. Meaning what? You please burn up all my karma and ensure that I follow the right path. That is the fundamental thing we have to ask the fire. And Agni, being the foremost one in creation, he knows the intricacies of all paths, right path, left path, middle path. All yogas are known to Agni because there is no place without Agni. So Agni knows everything. So he says, since you know, you lead me in the right path, Supadharaye. You are the Vidwan, you know the whole Vishwa. Yuyodhya Asmat Juhuraname. Please burn up all the impurities of my karma. Please burn up my karma. Only when the karma is burnt up, you are not drawn excessively by the outer demands. Your obligatory karma is completed. Then comes Pushan, Ekarshe, Yamasurya, Prajapatya, Vyuharasmin, Samuha. You withdraw your race, my dear son. It's a prayer to the sun globe. Withdraw your race. If you don't withdraw your race, I can't see the beautiful disc, the golden disc. You can't see the golden disc of the sun when the sun rays are so brilliantly radiating up to us. Can you? Only during morning hours and evening hours you can look at the sun. At other times you may look at with the sunglasses. So he looks golden disc, he looks a diamond disc. So the prayer then is, once these karma rays are all withdrawn, see the rays, kiranas also mean indriyas. Indriyas would always into the outer. So unless these activities are withdrawn, which is possible only when obligatory karma is neutralized, You can't see the bindu here, the bimba here. So, nada, bindu, kada. This is how it is. That's the final. You hear to nadas, you see the chitkalas of the grandmother or the universal light, that exquisite jewel, the star of the sea, the world mother. We say so many things not knowing what it is. Then when all your karma activity stops causing obligations to you, the rays relating to your being pulled out into objectivity is ceased. When that is ceased, what happens? When there are no rays for this solar globe, is not the solar globe clearly seen in the sky? Already you are in the blue sky. So that's where you meet the disk of the solar globe. That is the bindu. So that is the bindu which you visualize in the blue sky, in the valley. The valley is the eyebrows. The blue sky is the space above the eyebrows, which is in the forehead. There you listen to music for some time, you see certain brilliant manifestations of diamond light, and ultimately when your obligatory karma is complete, when bhukta is cleared, bhakta rahita, taraka, raja yoga, isn't it? So the master said, see, he said he quickens the process. That's where it is new. That is what I have been saying. He quickens by concluding your karma faster. He has varieties of ways of neutralizing your karma. He can distribute his karma over so many beings so that it's not heavy for you. Suppose you have ₹1,000,000 debt. If the master has 100,000 disciples, each one would lose about 10 rupees. It's nothing. Including you, suppose we are 300 people here. If one man loses 3 lakhs of rupees, it is heavy. 300 people losing 100 rupees, is it heavy? If we are 3,000 people, it becomes 10 rupees. If we are 300,000 people, it is 1 rupee. If we are 1,000,000, it is 30 paisa. This is how it's a group consciousness. Aquarius is group consciousness. He said, I will distribute your karma so that it is equally distributed to all those who follow me, and no one would feel very heavy. So that's how the whole work goes on and on and on. And the obligatory karma is quickly cleared. This is another thing which is very new. Because the tradition, all our scriptures, everything says you have to bloody well go through your karma. Isn't it? Master Sivi said, forget about it. Now I have come. You know what he is? It is Brahman itself. It has decided to help the planet and the planetary beings because we are very sluggish. So they are distributing the karma in a varieties of ways to varieties of kingdoms, not only to human beings. Karma is distributed. So retribution, the heaviness of retribution is not so much. That's how, in spite of it, we are feeling a bit heavy, isn't it, in our lives? Then you can imagine how heavier had it been without this. We don't know. See, whenever we are in difficulties, we feel we are in very great difficulty. No other has such a difficulty. But the truth is, your difficulty is very heavy to you. Pita kastam pitadi, Sita kastam sitadanar kada. Sita Mahadev kananta kastam pitaki undi ledhu kada. So that's how each man has his own feeling of his problems. But they are already distributed, so they are like that. If you meet with an accident, you know that. Whenever an accident is avoided, a fatal accident is avoided, an injury is avoided, a loss is avoided, a danger is avoided, a sorrow is avoided. How do you know that? Things that are avoided for you don't know. Many things were averted, few things remain. They would also be averted. Many wars would have happened ever since 1981 on this planet, which would have destroyed substantially the life on the planet. Many wars. And how does humanity know that the wars were avoided? Wars were averted. Many calamities were avoided. Many people prophesied that 99 is the end. 1999 averted. Computer crisis by 2000. 2K, Y2K averted. How is it averted? When there is such a huge fear about so many things about the 1999 and about 2000, right from 81, so many times global crises were averted. When things are averted, we don't know. When some little things are, little painful things are given to us, we already feel, oh, we are doing this, but still it is painful, this and that. It would have been worse. Please remember that. That is Krishna's philosophy. Krishna gave the Homeo principle 5,000 years ago. You know what happened after the war? Yudhishthira was into deep depression. So people tried so many ways to put him out of depression, because he saw so many people dying, and he is a soft-hearted man, and he went into deep depression, and he did not want to get coronated to be the king emperor. So the medical experts tried, homeopaths, they were not there. Allopaths tried, Ayurveda tried. So many medicinal things tried, nothing happened. So many seers came and they tried to inject philosophy into him, it did not work. So many yogis came, they tried to help him, it did not work. Even Vedavyasa tried to bring him back to normalcy, it did not work. Nobody could help this man who is deep down in depression. It is so disgusting to people. At the right moment, the main candidate is in depression. It is like Tendulkar getting into depression in the Indian team. Then there is no cricket for us. So, when the very central theme is in depression, what can anyone do? Krishna saw that this fellow is just sick. He should be given deep medicine. So he came to Yudhishthira and said, do you know that there was another who suffered 100 times more than this? That was a sympathetic statement for the Yudhishthira. He immediately asked Krishna, who is it? Because if there is someone more suffering than you, you are already in comfort. That's the way you have to console people that have a fracture of a finger. If they have a fracture of the finger, you have to speak to them about the fracture of a shoulder. And if the fellow has a fracture of shoulder and suffering from it, you have to tell him fracture of a leg. And if he has both shoulder fracture and leg fracture, you have to tell him fracture of the spinal column. He would be keenly interested. I did not get it. This is the human psychology. We take such pleasure. We are comforted if we know someone is still worse than us. Is it not a horrible psychology? But it is true with human beings. So Krishna saw that Yudhishthira went into total negative thinking. So the negative should be met with the negative only, isn't it? That is homeopathy. Ushnam Ushnena Sitalam. Let me tell him something more horrible than this. The war was no doubt horrible. He knows it very well. He tried his very best to avert it. So he found this man in such deep negativity. He said, do you know, there was one fellow who suffered 100 times more than you. What are you talking? He said. Then Yudhishthira, for the first time, responded and said, who is it? Will you please tell me in detail his story? Krishna never does labor. It's not his way. I don't know where his Saturn was. Labor was never his quality. He immediately, Narada was there. He was also a failure with Yudhishthira. Imagine Narada being a failure with Yudhishthira. And Krishna pulled him out, pulled the soul out with one statement. Then Yudhishthira said, please give me in detail the story of that man. Then he looked at Narada, you better narrate to him, I have some work to do. Our planets are nothing. We can't see Krishna in a planetary situation. Narada, he had to take up the labor. He was himself mercurial, you know. Narada is cosmic Mercury, such an escapist, if he wants. But he was fixed, like Fevicol, to Yudhishthira by Lord Krishna. Then he narrated this story. Then, okay, thank God. It did not happen so worse to me. So Yudhishthira came out of the depression. So before he coronated, so Yudhishthira was so depressed and he was put out of the depression only by narrating a story of a person who went into deeper trouble than Yudhishthira. That is the reason why people who are in trouble are required to recite Aranya Parva of Mahabharata or Aranya Kanda of Ramayana. When you read Aranya Kanda of Ramayana and Aranya Parva of Mahabharata, you feel lighter because your difficulties are not at all comparable to the difficulties that Rama and Yudhishthira went through. And in that Aranya Parva you would also get the story of Nala. You get the story of Harishchandra, a king emperor who was ruling the planet, the solar king, with a divine sword which had a handle, a diamond handle. With that, the self-same hand, he holds what? A wooden stick with a flame, Kagada, and in a graveyard. Can you imagine? The solar king that was ruling the whole planet, who was in great splendor, and always his hand is decorated with the divine sword, with the diamonds studded to its handle, is the one who holds a fire stick in a graveyard, supervising the grave during the night hours. And every morning he has to collect certain alcohol, isn't toddy, and give it to his boss, who is the boss of the graveyard. Is our difficulty so deep? Or is our difficulty so deep as that of Yudhishthira, or that of Nala, or that of Rama? That's why when we are in difficulties, we have to read these parts of the scriptures. Then we feel our difficulty is not even as much as a bug or a mosquito. We grow in our stature and our difficulty comes down. Do you know why I am telling all this? Your difficulties are no difficulties. My difficulties are no difficulties compared to the difficulties of those who went through initiations. Can you compare your difficulty with the difficulty of Jesus the Christ? Can you compare your difficulty with the difficulties of Socrates? We don't stand anywhere near. Unfortunately, we blow big about ourselves. And our small difficulties are big difficulties to us. If we have difficulties, petty difficulties, they are after a lot of neutralization already made. This you know only when you have gone beyond a point, that you are saved so many times by your master. We only know where we were not saved, because unless we experience certain things, we also don't change for the better. So this karma gets neutralized, and the master said, I shall work faster. No one believes in India when Master CVV says, I shall neutralize your karma, I shall quicken your progress, I shall speed up your yoga practice, I shall ensure that you go through immortality. It cannot be accepted, isn't it? True, in the old system it is not acceptable. In the new system, if you say it is not acceptable, you don't have common sense, that's all. Just to give an example, that I can write a letter to my friend in Buenos Aires. I don't post the letter, but he will read the letter there. Mutatis mutandis. If I say this 100 years ago, people would not believe it. 100 years ago, I have to write a letter, post it in the post box, and if postal department works well, it goes to a harbor, and then the ship takes the postcard through all the seas and reaches Buenos Aires in 6 months' time. And then there, when the postal department works, my friend would receive the letter. Isn't it? Today I don't post. I don't buy a postcard. You know, many post offices are jobless now. They are doing many other things because they don't have to do these old things. Postmen also don't have so much of post to carry. So the whole letter moves from here over there and gets printed through ether. So all the karma of the travel of the postcard, is it not saved? Is not time saved? Is not energy saved? Is not transportation of material saved? There is not much of material functioning now, material interaction. It's all etheric interaction. Electronic interaction is etheric interaction. And ether is the strength of the Aquarian master. When he said so many things much before they came into our life, they all look like to be funny stories. So among those hundreds of funny things which he said that came true, one thing is neutralization of karma. So by inference at least we should believe. Isn't it? Thank God, if I have only this much difficulty, I must have already been saved so many times by the Master. And even this, I shall try to bear. I have no complaint against the Master. And if the Master wills, he will take it away. So many things have changed during the last 20-30 years. So many things were averted. So much advancement is made. Now today, in 5 years, we cover a century's progress. That's how it is. Speed and much happening through ether, less manifestation at the material plane. All transactions, may we transact light, isn't it? There are so many transactions that are happening through ether, that is transaction of light itself. And if people are averse to computers, averse to internet, averse to email, there is something Piscean in them causing the heaviness to go away from it and suffer, that's all. There are people who are always averse to something new. It is because they are heavily loaded with Saturn and their Uranus is not at work. If Uranus is at work, you are the fastest to catch up the newest thing. Planets also have changed their functions. That's how Master CVV said, ever since I came, planets are given different functions. Now Moon, Sun, Venus, Mercury, all these planets are working for Uranus. Saturn is also working for Uranus. Uranus is the dominant actor among the planetary actors. Just like NTR used to overact, dominating the rest of the characters in the movie, now the NTR among planets is Uranus. He is just, he took over the functions of many and said, you stop your functioning, function for me. That's how Uranus is functioning. If you wish to know that, read Esoteric Astrology of Master Jwalkul. Please remember, all that Master Jwalkul has written through Madam Bailey is nothing but elaboration of the cryptic statements given by Master CVV. There was not time and we were not permitted to speak of it yesterday. Some other time I shall synthesize the statements of Master CVV with the elaborate commentaries of Master Jwalkul. So let us get back to our Bro Center. Because that's where we stop now. That is our pituitary body. Then we have to contact the pineal gland. So to get into pineal gland, in the meanwhile, Agnenaya Subhadaraya must have been fulfilled. And your prayer is, Pushan Ekarshe Yamasurya Prajapatya Vyuharasmin Samuha. Ette Rupam Tejomayam Ette Rupam Kalyanatamam Tatte Rupam Pachami Savaso Purushaha Sohamasmi. Meaning what? You withdraw these rays of karma. Then only when you are completed, when your bhukta is rahitad, bhuktan rahitam అయిపోతేనే దాన్ని rahitad అంటున్నాను అనమాట. అందుకని when bhukta is over, the past karma is all neutralized and there is no present karma and you are no more capable of creating new karma to you, that is agami. Then you see the disk of solar globe. Who is it? It's you only. Sohamasmi, Saha Ahamasmi. So now you relate to that Bimba. బింబదర్శనం అంటే అప్పుడు బింబదర్శనం. పూర్ణచంద్రుడు, full moon, you would see the disk as full moon. You would see the disk as golden disk. You see the disk as diamond disk. And you are only engaged with the disk, and the disk is a projection from the blue sky. Indian mathematician only defined what is a point in geometry. He had the spiritual dimension of the point. Others defined a point as a non-directional location. Pinpoint, isn't it? To pinpoint means it is non-directional and it is locational. Unlike a straight line or a vertical line, a horizontal line, there is no direction in it, or not a curved line. It is a point. That is the mundane definition. The spiritual mathematician from India, he defined it as an emergence. Bindu, means the point. All yantras have bindus, isn't it? You get this bindu many times in Lalita Sahasranama, you don't care for it. The bindiya you make here is to recollect. It can be made by males also. Now males have become fashionable, no? So they don't wear, they don't put it on. That's my goal. You have to remember that it is your goal. That's where you have to be. That is where you originally came from. That is your original place. That is your throne. You have to get to that throne now. You are now at the feet of the throne. That's why you are at the feet of the Master here. So being at the feet of the Master, now you aim at the heart of the Master where you are. The Master means the Master. Then you are there. There is a triangle around you, above you. The triangle is of the three qualities. And there is a center in the triangle, like the bindu. And you relate to that. So when you relate to that, and ask that to, you would ask that to embrace you and take you over there. Remember, it's not that you would jump into it. You have to request that to receive you into its fold. It should embrace you. It should take you into its fold. Tat savitur varenyam. It's not that I shall jump into it, then you will jump into something else. That is exactly what Taittiriya Upanishad says, Brahma vidapnoti param. It takes you into itself. It's not that you go there. You cannot go there. It can bring you into it. That's where you have to be humble. You have to be a non-egoistic, a nirahankara purusha. Wait and seek. Tat savitur varenyam, tat savitur varenyam, tat savitur. Tat savitur కాదది. tat savitur. తత్సవితురు అంటే నన్ను పిలవట్లేదు అనుకుంటుంది. ఎవడో తత్స ఉన్నాడు అనుకుంటుంది. తత్సవితురు కదా మనకి. ఇట్స్ నాట్ తత్సవితురు. It tat savitur varenyam. We are asking that to embrace us. That light to embrace us. Embracing means it should do it. You can't embrace it. Wait there. Seek embracement. Keep on asking for it. Weep for it. Will it. Relentlessly work for it. If it happens, the work is done only. What is that work? Delinking from the body. It's not already realization, please remember. It is immortality. You have gained your original position. Originally you are a soul. And now there is the relation with the universal soul. So now it is Amaratva. Thereafter Brahmatva. From Ajna to Sahasrara. That can take, we don't have to worry then. You have all the time to contemplate, 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 contemplate. The contemplation itself is joy. That's why in Himalayas they are engaged. Not only in Himalayas, Himalayas are more known. More numbers are there. But the sacred mountain ranges all over the planet, those beings who contemplate, They are all Videhas, meaning they have gained Visishta Dehas, bodies of light. That is the diamond light you gain. And then you remain. When you reach that point, you are out of it. For that you can read Master's commentary upon Dhruva's tapas. You would find yourself like Chaturbhuja, the four-armed Lord, like Vishnu. That's why Vishnu Darshana is also considered as a good way to contemplate upon. After that, Shiva, the formless one. In the creation, the cosmic man exists in the same form as you, with the difference that he has two more hands. So you would visualize yourself only in a four-armed form. You know, the four-armed form is no different from the presentation of the atom today. The atom is shown with like a three-dimensional cross. You take the right hand and left leg, it makes one line. You take the left hand and right leg, it makes another line. You take from head to down below, it takes a central line. Then it is three lines cutting across. That is what is called three-dimensional cross. That is how now you would put the symbol of an atom, the hexagonal manifestation of the Lord. That is Shanmukha. In the sixth center, you are like a symbol of six arms with a center. The six arms are nothing but three lines crossing across each other. Now you also get some pictures of Vishnu made like that. I saw them in Bangalore somewhere. These are all the sublime truths. Sometimes even unconsciously they come out when they will. So that's how you find yourself in your miniature form as light. And that miniature form is said to be as big as your own thumb. If your thumb is a bit bigger than the others, your form is bigger. This miniature form is the form of etheric form. And in that form you live, and you have no such thing as being born, and also you don't experience such a thing as death. You may take to body of flesh and blood, but you don't have the experience of going through the womb of the mother. And you may once again depart from that body. You don't have the experience of the death. It is like entering into a form of flesh and blood and exiting from it. Like our entering into a house and exiting from the house. You don't feel because you are not stuck with it. This kind of delinking is what is sought through Mrityunjaya Mahamantra. And the related practice is this. There are great many details in the whole thing that I have narrated. But I just wanted to let you know that the path is so splendorous, so beautiful, and is so systematically arranged that you should know it and follow it. And at every step you are assisted by your master on the basis of your Shraddha and on the basis of your Bhakti. And thereafter the final prayer comes for Brahmatva, where Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Tattvam Pushan Napavrunu Satya Dharmaya Drustaye. There you see, this solar disk which I have reached seem to be a cover to something beyond, because it's an emergence. It's an emergence from the blue, but that is an aperture, and the aperture is covered with a disk. Motapettesarannamata. So now you are seeking that disc, would you kindly get aside? Will you discover yourself? కాస్త మూత తీస్తావా అని అడిగినట్టు అనమాట. If I am truthful and if I have followed dharma all through, and if you think I am deserving, would you kindly discover the disc? You seem to hide something. Satyasya api. I have explained this in Guru Pujas. The beauty of wisdom is every time it appears afresh and anew. So this disc we are seeking, that means we are now looking to the final merger into the Brahman. You are in the miniature form of light and you contemplate upon that which beyond the disc now. That's where you relate to the Parabrahman. When it happens, you are in Samadhi. Before that, you are in Dhyana. Dhyana of the Parabrahman. That is ultimate meditation. In the scriptures, when they say Dhyana, they mean this, not what we do. So meditation also has its layers. That's the meditation referred to in Patanjali, Dhyana. Dhyana for Samadhi. That's the 7th step. And when you are in it, where? At the Ajna center, you are at Dharana, meaning you are holding the body is no more holding you. మీరు ధరించి ఉన్నారు దేహాన్ని, అందుకని దాన్ని ధారణ అన్నారు. ధారణ మీన్స్ హోల్డింగ్. You are holding the body, you are holding and you function into that body through buddhi, through mind, through senses and the body. You function through it, but you are at the peak of it, you are at the apex of it, you are at the mount. That's the mount. So you are there and then you descend and conduct work, you go back and stay here. A lot can be said at every one of these stages, but then there is a time schedule which we have to follow. Our immediate step is to reach Ajna. That's where Ajna is the center from where you can order your system. You are the king of your life. And you hold the rod of power which exists in this spinal column. And you are sitting on the throne. Your throne is regained. Your crown has to be gained. Someone has to coronate you. Isn't it? In a coronation function, the king himself does not pick up the crown and put it on his head, no. Someone has to coronate you. The Brahman has to coronate you. So when you become a Brahmarshi, you have the crown. Before that, you are Rajarshi. You are sitting on the throne. You don't have the crown, but you have the rod of power, this sword, that is what is called the sphere. Sulam, Ankusham, that which Kumara holds, he is Shanmukha. You too will be a Shanmukha. Shanmukha is a Kumara, isn't it? Kumara means what? Son of God. So son of God is Shanmukha. They are all so very interrelated. You gain all the 6 dimensions, you will have all the Shad Darsanas, and all the 6 centers are cooperative to you, and this becomes a garland of flowers, Varnamala, and also a rod of power. And sitting on the crown, you rule your own kingdom as a king. And then you have the priest above you who has to coronate you, put the crown on your head. There are varieties of ways by which all this phenomena is presented. So when you reach this point, then you can say you are immortal. And that is what the Master wants to give to us. He wants to give it to us on a platter. Not knowing what it is, please don't get into CVV. This is the travel we have to make. Don't be casual about it. And I have skipped over many details, don't think. At every point there is so much of detail. Right from heart center, via throat center, to Ajna center, there are so many small stations. You would go through all these stations. And you experience the related knowledge. And then you ultimately go into that, then you become immortal. Thereafter, like Girisarma realized that he is Jwalkul, and Jwalkul realized that it is Girisarma is his personality life. That is the initiation. So you would know who you are as the soul, and even if you are reborn, you remember what you are. And you continue further in relation to pursuit of Brahman, and continue further in relation to your cooperation with the divine plan, in which your master is eternally engaged. So this is the travel intended by the yoga, and Master CVV becomes very relevant in speeding up the process. At all places, at all stages he does it. And he is the one who works with the sound. And sound is the characteristic of ether. And ether is ruled by Uranus. And he is an embodiment of Uranus. Because he is Varuna principle, Agastya principle, Nilagiri principle. And it comes into action during emergencies. In this creation, Agastya came into action whenever there is an emergency. Now there is an emergency for this humanity at large to know that there is no such thing as death. If you see the books of Master Jwalkul, he elaborately discusses and prophesies that the humanity would soon know that there is no such thing as death. The whole program is initiated by the energy that visited us through Sirius. It came from the most high circles to Sirius, and from Sirius to Regulus in Leo, and from Regulus into our system, and into our system through the Grand Master CVV, it is introduced to this planet. And by accident we stepped over it. It's just by accident. Not knowing what it is. By dint of some luck we stepped on it, know its scope, know its grandeur, know its depth, and then see in what manner we can follow. Thank you very much for the excellent ambience that is so well prepared with Shraddha by the team workers here. The teaching could happen in a somewhat profound way. I therefore thank you all. Namaskar.